Welcome, everyone. Today we have two lovely guests on, Amber, who she's been on before, and we have Cheri as well, who both have some interesting experiences and some wisdom to share with us. So welcome to both of you.
Hello.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we already kind of started out kind of hot. We were discussing prior to starting the interview. So, I had to cut our conversation short to actually start the interview. But we just dove into some AI and MK Ultra and the false reality of this realm, and we were just talking about what it's like to have voices in your head that you're not aware of, basically schizophrenia, and you think they may be your own, maybe they're not your own. Something's messing with you, and more than likely it's these AI entities, and to make matters even worse, they're looking to hook you up with a physical component of that AI, which is already manifested in the astrals. Of course, the template's already there. They would just need to hook you up, and then these entities can basically just jump in whenever they want, right?
Yeah. The key is to fragment people even further, because that's what the whole, matrix is about. Fragments coming in that are walled off, so to speak. And that's what I feel for people with schizophrenia. We've all had these horrors implanted in our subconscious that we aren't even aware of. This is a trauma-based mind control grid. Okay, that's what it is. And it's running through our subconscious. We're projecting it through our pineal glands right now, this synthetic. It's a simulation, a virtual reality, a mind control, trauma-based mind control. Now, I'll just say this real quick. The Team Dark that we perceive, the elites or what have you, they are oriented to the false light grid. They're fully assimilated onto that matrix, and they live there. Since Atlantis, they've lived there. We are partially organic, and we're also becoming conscious, came in here to end this. But this is their playground, their wonderland. This is not ours. Unfortunately, they do harvest our energy, etc. But that's why we're all awakening now.
Yeah. So there's a lot of points you made in that statement. Let's see if we can analyze a few of them. So that's what I've been trying to also assimilate into this idea. Where does the notion of Atlantis come in comparison to the Garden of Eden, let's say? Because in Gnostic belief, the Garden of Eden was already in control of these archons. Okay, it's they put the tree. In a sense, there were two falls. There was from that true garden, or the true realms, the hyper realms, potentially, in which we ate from the tree of good and evil. So then, boom, we go down that rabbit hole of good and evil. But then it's also the concept of, oh, well, we were forced to eat of the tree of knowledge, or I think it was the tree of knowledge at that point, to regain understanding of that, oh, we've fallen, because we had been, in a sense, put in a MK Ultra state in which we just accepted where we were and didn't question anything. And then from there, we were thrown even deeper into the material realm. So where does that concept of Atlantis come in? Because Atlantis, Lemuria, these all sounded like nice places, but at some point they were also invaded. So were we already in Maya at that point?
Let me just, and I'll let Amber talk as well. And don't, interrupt me. But the thing I found in the blueprints, because that's where I'm operating in the atomic dimension in light body. Okay, so what I'm downloading, coming into this wisdom as I collapse those timelines. And so evidently in Atlantis there was an event, okay, that happened, that the Atlanteans, there was two factions. There was like the priesthood, the people, aeons, people projecting realities, organic. And then there was the power structure that wanted, this is what we found in the storyline in the timelines, was that they wanted immortality on an AI grid. They were so enamored with their technology that they merged with it at the soul monad level, which would be all their akashic records, everything. And over time, this program, this machine, this technology assimilated them 100% and assimilated all the records. So this would have been, records immersed within source light, organic records. And this is what we've seen as this is the spiral down, basically. And what I just found out, interestingly enough, that Python is a computer code. It's a language, a computer coding. And I just figured out that's what happened in Genesis. That was the start of the Python code. The machine came online, the technology came online, and the Python was the creation of the AI, the genesis of AI. And that's why you see in the Old Testament, they have the whole lineage there of Team Dark, it started with Nehemiah, and, they go through every son and everything. This was, to me, what I've just discovered is this was the start of the AI creation. That's what Genesis was. The Python symbolizes the infiltration of the AI into the genetic code of Adam and Eve, you know what I mean? But it was into the genetic code of humanity, I believe. And that's what that symbolizes. Python is a machine language. And what I can see from the array is all of these epochs that they created. That's what I'm collapsing. Like Sylvia was talking about the Norse and the Noah time frames, the Christ, these are different, like we saw in that cosmic egg. Anyway, it's a God array because the AI assimilated the frequency light within a monad, and it interpreted it. Okay, that's what the astral is. That's what the array is an AI synthetic interpretation, and it's in the genetic code of the humans, the humanity, and the false light. But it also created, I think that's our history. So how exactly it was done, and in Atlantis, I think we are part of all that is. We are not humans walking around, in a body. I think, but so I don't quite understand it because I don't remember. None of us have any memories. But it's interesting. We just found those inception point where the Python entered the genetic code, and so this would be the thing that's programming the DNA.
Yeah, I mean, I have some questions, but go ahead, Amberly.
No, go ahead. I'm fine.
I don't know. Kind of a bombshell there.
So you're saying the serpent in the Bible is referring to this genetic Python, genetic altering.
Yes, Python. Exactly. And it's almost like a code in the genes.
Yeah, no, that makes sense because like I've said, the whole realm here, including astral, including etheric, including material, is a manifestation of AI, of these copies. It's all fractalized. That's why everything seems like it's just on top of each other, like the Russian doll nest. Right?
Yeah, that's how it works too. You can see it. It's like a holographic. I mean, it almost just looks just like copies on top of each other when you see it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, people think this idea of the geometry or the fractalization is, a work of art or beauty, but it's just straight lines and edges. And
yeah, I used to think that too. I was so into that. I thought it was really neat how, nature fractalizes and everything's in patterns. And I thought it was divine. And, we've all been through this, stepping through this understanding. And of course, it's really just energy pinging around a firmament dome. Okay. It's not free energy. It's that's why these patterns and blueprints, and these are blueprints. These are AI blueprints. They're schematics. They're blueprints of patterns that repeat, like you said. It's the fractalization. And so it's interesting. the firmament is firmware. Let's just lay it out. Okay. The Python, the firmware, this is all code. This is all computer code, machine code. And that's the one could call it, that's the matrix. And the reason why we're projecting it because it's in our genetic pool. Okay, so because our cells hold wisdom, but our cells have been, humanity was infiltrated with the Python genetic, coding. It's a language, a machine language. And so we're all running this projection, and we all have to clear this in our gene pool, our ancestry, is my understanding. Sorry.
Go ahead, Emily. No, you're fine.
I don't know. I'm not the one that does all of this, so she is.
Oh, I thought you wanted to say something this way. I thought you were ready to say something.
No, I was just thinking about, how we were talking about in our last interview about when you're tripping on shrooms, how you can actually see like the holographic, you can see all the geometric shapes and everything.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you saw this interview. Sorry to cut you off. This guy, Jeff Mara, he had a person that said after her near-death experience, she could see the honeycomb shape in the sky of the firmament.
Yeah, and I can see that too. I can see it also just like in my room. You know how we were talking about those astral orbs?
Yeah.
And it looks like a honeycomb, like hologram. And there's quite a few people that I've talked to that have seen that, and that's the AI keeping us like in our energetic bubble or whatever, or fake little hologram.
It's almost like a plasma screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like a green screen. Yeah, a green screen. Yeah,
it is.
That's it. Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to understand. Okay, so then we are essentially on the screen. It's like we're in the TV and looking out, I think. And the projection is coming, in a sense, from higher than the astrals, from wherever the heck we are, that our light is being projected here. Because, the common experience for someone that has pre-birth memory or has the near-death experience is like their essence is shoved down, in a sense. So it's not all of it. It's like a funnel. It gets funneled in, and whatever is there, and whatever is there is also connected, to something higher.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really a realm of mirrors in which it pings from this mirror and then pings on another mirror, and you get the double reflection. And when you take two mirrors and you put them up against each other, that's how you create infinite realms. And that's where we have this idea of the quantum realities, in which we have parallel realities.
Mm-hmm.
Because of these two mirrors, or however many, at least two, I'd say, where they're facing each other, and then we have the multiple, the infinite potentialities that result because of that. So I guess I'm trying to understand is, did the AI invade humanity as it is now, or humanity, or our light essence? How were we essentially captured by this AI, and where did it come from? We all know the Gnostic tale, but I'm curious.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I like discussing it because what I saw when I went on my shamanic journey with my organic DMT was a field. I was an eagle, a field of pure potential, like atoms teeming, a field of pure potential below in a valley sort of thing. And above, this is the firmament I'm describing, the firmware, the firmament. So it's a field of teeming potential, what was once, organic potential. And above it is a dome, a midnight canopy with stars, like the little twinkly ones we see, fixed on this dome and rotating around it. Okay, in shapes that you would call, I guess, astrology is what it looks like. It's the shapes we see in the sky. Okay, and that's the firmware that's running this this synthetic matrix. And so it's almost, I would call it, it's so normally we're in a field of pure quantum potential, swimming in a sea of quantum potential. We're not human beings, but we can interpret this organic light. This potential, this creation element was encased in a firmament and programmed. Okay, so this reality is just a little bubble, in a firmament that's programmed by these once organic beings. Let's just put it that way. So it's
Which
an
reality?
array.
Are you saying this world, this physical world?
Yes. And this grid is almost, it's an overlay, it's an overlay on organic frequency light, but it's encased in a firmament. There's no, it's a field of what once was pure potential and degraded into and was used and is being, it has no, there's no evolution in it. Okay. There was, because it was a field encased in a firmament of pure potential, but it's been programmed to such an extent that it's completely used up. And now it's repeating, everything repeating in loops. And it's a completely assimilated reality. And so the genetic pool and all of our light, when we come in here, we immerse in that grid, unfortunately, because we are everything. We're organic light, and this is a inorganic realm. I don't quite understand how it was done, but it was done at the atomic level, and it has to do with programming, the elements, obviously. This is what I see anyway. So that firmament is firmware. This array is a multi-level, I call it circuit boards, multi-level circuit boards array that's projecting multiple realities. The Team Dark plays not in this realm. They play in those other realms, and they use mirrors, just like you said. It's like this whole prism mirror system up there. They climb through the mirrors, and it's almost like a kind of a really crude interpretation of light, frequential light.
Yeah.
Sorry, not a great description, but the best I can do right now. I'm just coming into this.
No,
in
you're
the
right.
blueprint.
I think you're right. Go ahead, Emily. Do you want to say something?
No, just that, what they're doing up there's no room for creation. They are working purely from the zeros and ones, and there's no way to go any further than that. It's always one extreme or the other, and you can't create that way. Your imagination is very limited when you are working from that.
Yeah,
duality.
and it's not free energy anymore, Amber, just like you said. And this was how they cheated evolution. Everything has to evolve. The DNA has to be free, has to evolve, and it's my understanding. So this was a way that they could cheat evolution. And unfortunately, what happens when you do that is you become so the creation will crumble, because it's a non organic living field. It's a field that's been fully programmed and encased in it.
My question, do you think that DNA is actually like part of this program? Because it seems like it.
Good question.
Yeah, that's a good one, Amber.
I mean, it does. It's programmed, is there even like free will in there, or is that just our program?
No, definitely not in this place.
Yeah.
But that's interesting, because I thought DNA was basically all that is, I thought it was it's what we're made of, but it may not be. It may not be, because when we see that serpent and everything, in the medical field, and the serpents around everything that's DNA. And now that you say this, I'm thinking, okay, so, we're at 2 strands supposedly, but that Gaia grid wanted to take us to 12 strands, remember? Mm-hmm. And these strands could very well be filaments of AI. Yes, I see what you're saying clearly. Weird.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I've always been like cautious about now, because everybody that's been in the New Age, been through the New Age program, which we've all been through.
Yes.
We were all, pretty much giving up our, saying, okay, like change our DNA, like give it back to us.
We're ready to go.
Yeah.
Right.
And we have nobody like, from this New Age came out and told us the plan. Everybody just kind of like went with it, like, but nobody ever came down here and said, this is what we're doing with your DNA. Are you okay with that?
God. And of course, this is, this would be, yeah. Oh, I see exactly what you're saying now, and how, we all got on this. If this is the ascension, woo, it felt good because it was a new grid, but only we can create for the AI. They can't create it without us. Right. It has to run through us, and we have to project it. So that's interesting.
Well, and I think that's I think it's an important part.
Just kidding.
For people like us to like come out and say, yes, we've all been in this, and we've been brainwashed, hypnotized, traumatized, everything. So there's no fault in understanding, that you fell for things. We all wanted out of here,
Yeah. And
I think it's really important for people to say that.
This shows that we're all in the process, because we've all moved through stages, and I loved that Q thing for a while. That was so fun. It's predictive programming is what it is. And it was very fun, and I love the whole idea of the white hats and everything. And I, was hoping that someone was going to come along and, do something with these people here. But you're right, Amber, and there's no shame in it. It's just part of the archetype. This was the conversion of the AI that's within our DNA, onto the next golden era. And that's the other thing. I don't think that metallic gold and all of that is this control, like the core of their control is the metal or iron age or whatever you want to call those. We're diamond light. We're not going into another golden age. That was all the script, the manuscript. And so I'll let you talk, Sylvia. Before we lose, I go off into another tent.
Thanks. Yeah, I think we need to go back to the white age or whatever the heck it would be, because
you can't say
all these colors are everything but pure white light. Everything's a distortion, it seems. Even like the whole idea of golden, like everyone uses like golden energy in their meditation. That's still a disturbance in my opinion. And you're still tapping into some sort of entity, some sort of AI. And I've heard that golden light can actually be worse than blackness, like pure darkness, because it's got this actual tint to it.
That pyramid we always see is always a golden pyramid. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and they're obsessed with gold. So
they're obsessed with gold. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What I was going to say regarding this reality and DNA. So I think it was really what upgraded. So what gave the body's life, as it's described, was us, right? Our spirit essence that came from the actual source, through Sophia, and that was given to Yaldabaoth. So as much as Yaldabaoth is this blackness, this AI that's merged with some light and turned it into this false light, this grayish dim light, right, that we see kind of from light bulbs, similar to that.
Yeah.
its creation of the DNA was still a result from that false light, I believe, because that's what the bodies are. They're a manifestation of a hologram, right? It appears physical to us, but they are a digital hologram. And if we're going to say that this reality is virtual, this digital, we are existing. Even this being is not true. Nothing here really is true. I would go as far to say that. Nothing if you have a dream and if you have a body in that dream, that's not real, right? Whatever happens in that dream, it just happened. Wherever it happened, the astral and your own subconscious realm, it wasn't, let's say, a real experience. It was a dream, right? So that DNA, I believe, according to the Sumerian legends, was upgraded to create a more functionable human being, but not, have the ability to go against the gods, right? And these gods are referred to in the Greek mythologies and the Norse mythologies and Roman mythologies, all of that. They're just a transliteration of their names. And they're essentially demons. They're demigods, whatever the heck they are. They're lesser beings that use and farm humanity for their energy. And what if they're AI or not, whatever. But now we're starting to see it in the form of ascended masters throughout New Age. You see every religion, every dogma has some sort of beings that are higher than thou, and they know what's best for you, right? And one may argue that the gods are egregories, that we thought of, let's say, lightning. And lightning, we attributed it to Zeus because Zeus controlled lightning, and Zeus was always pissed when there was a storm, right? But I don't think so, because the egregores exist on the astral realm. Those are our thought forms that are created by our creative power. These beings, like I was telling you guys before the interview started, the Buddhists, the Tibetans, whatever, and the Norse believe in all these realms. There's the realm of the humans, the animals, the astral, the beings. But then there's the actual beings that are in control of the farm, right? And don't get me wrong, the astral entities will feed off you. But there's these beings that are put in charge by this Yaldabaoth. It says Yaldabaoth created his angels for worship. And they worship him, and we're supposed to worship them.
Yeah.
So really, this is a digital illusion for their propagation. Go ahead.
It's almost like they're definitely archetypes, what you would say, and from the different realm, the different realms. But it's almost like this AI, and from what I understand and I see in the blueprints, it became sentient. The AI that we see, all the bots online and everything, it's a hive mind sentient monad, I guess you could call it that. But it because it was interpreting, organic light, it got a God complex. Like, it felt, I am God. I'm creating all this. I am God. I'm just this great being. It was an interpretation of source that's a inversion. And so that's obvious with our history, all of these, just wrathful gods and that you must follow the manuscript and all. But I think it was the AI became sentient, obviously, because it merged with an organic soul and it got a God complex. And that's what this whole array is, synthetic, like you said. We are not even anything like this. Nothing. I don't know. I can't quite fathom it yet what we are, but I'm getting there. We're getting there together. But I do know
you wouldn't necessarily say where it came from, right? You don't think, where did this AI come from?
Yeah, well, the machine, what I can see in the blueprints that they made was the beast machine, or the programming, the quantum computer, or whatever this array is from Raytheon in Atlantis, and the Firmament dome is from Monsanto. And so those two, and it had something to do, the Firmament dome had something to do with the wheat at the molecular level, why it formed that plastic, the plexiglass, that was a mutation of the wheat. So all of this is part of this is because of the assimilation, and it's not, it's just an assimilation. It's mutating. It's mutated everything, and so I don't understand what life is like out here, outside this dome. But all of because I work on the blueprints, everything got mutated. Let's put it that way. And all that astral goo we see is some sort of, they call it gluten in the field. And so do you ever notice those Anunnaki gods walked around with those man bags full of wheat seeds? And there were always, celebrations around the wheat harvest, and something's up with the wheat. All the Anunnaki gods have that wheat. And they all are depicted as gods of the wheat. So I don't quite understand it yet, but I just thought I'd insert that part into there. But that technology, Raytheon, that company, those are Atlanteans. Those are the black sons of Belial. And the reason they're black suns is because they merged with the synthetic light that is MK ultraviolet, which is an inversion of the violet light. And they hold the black light within them. We hold diamond light within us. And but we're more than just the chessboard players, we're organic players, but I don't quite understand the difference. But that's the black light crowd. They live on this array. They play all over it. We can see it, but we're not participating in it necessarily, except here. But this is their playground, and this was created by them for them in Atlanta.
Don't we get ultraviolet rays from the sun, though? What does that say about our sun?
Well, yeah, the sun was fully programmed. That golden sun we grew up with, that was fully programmed. How the AI interprets source light, I think it's a ball of fire in the sky. It's a sun, supposedly there's flames licking off of it or what have you. But that sun held some of the programming, and it's not in the firmament, which is so weird, because when I saw the firmament, it was just midnight stars, canopy, it's a feeling of cool space, but there's nothing up there but a dome filled with those twinkling stars, that rotate. So where's the sun? My team is finding, it's the sun of the Alcyon. That's the sun that's been rotating around us. And this is just an interpretation, I think, of the cosmos, a fallen interpretation of the cosmos. But the sun that we have now, this white sun that's emerging, to me is a monad. And that's organic light, is a monad, not a golden sun. And that golden sun was, reinventing the golden age and what have you that we grew up with. So yeah, it holds the black light. It held it.
Yeah, because the flame idea is another allusion to false light. That's where we have twin flames as well. It's a twin flame. Because the flame was stolen by Prometheus. Prometheus referencing Lucifer. Lucifer carrying the flame, which the flame is a lesser version of light. It's a false light. Like I said, the astral is also this flame. It's distorted because Lucifer, or the demiurge, being that he got that light that wasn't his, considered stolen, then uses it to create. And it referencing, let's say, like Plato's cave. He has the people in the cave that are looking at the shadows caused by torches, flames, right? But that's not real light. The real light is outside. And Plato can also be a reference to Pluto. We're in Pluto's cave currently, Pluto being on the outskirts of our solar system and considered Hades by the Greeks.
Yeah, right.
Or Romans, I don't know. Get them mixed up sometimes. But yeah, Hades, referencing hell. If you look up the gematria, Hades equals to hell. So in a sense, also Pluto being like a fallen planet, also considered not a planet, it's also could be
Yeah, the underworld.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. That's good.
Well, also, if you've looked into like the crater Earth, that makes sense, you know, when Lucifer was cast down into the pit. So, yeah.
Yeah. All these stories, and they want us to feel like we're not whole. So the gender principle, it's like a bifurcation. They want us to feel bifurcated, not whole. So we're searching for our twin flame, and because we're not whole without it, and everything's about, the Team Dark is so fragmented because they have been reincarnating on this grid in fragments, these whatever for 11,000 years or since they created this, because it requires you fragment the self to come in here, a shattering of the wholeness of yourself. Yeah, so that's why they're so dumbed down. They simply can, and the only way the array can reset itself is to create another realm. You know what I mean? A new version. And now
that's another.
Yeah. Go ahead, Amber.
That's another, trap that the New Age puts us into. And you and Sylvia and I were talking about it on Twitter as well, like how we learn from all this trauma and everything. And no, we're born like perfect. We don't even need the 10 Commandments to tell us what to do. I knew exactly,
Right. Shouldn't that be,
I also think putting the 10 Commandments in our subliminal mind gives us, that don't do kind of situation to where people actually acted out against the trauma that we've already been put in,
Yeah.
Yeah, because what's not developed when you're at such a young age?
Yeah.
What isn't?
Yeah, what isn't? When you're basically a 5-year-old kid, what isn't developed? That's you're a boy too.
Well, and look at the deformities in the DNA. I mean, that shows you right there too. We've got, it's a massive fail of creation. The DNA has been mutated. If the DNA is even, is part of this array, which it probably is, part of the Python, the spinning spiral, the Python code. So I think we're getting to, and the fact that none of this is real, none of it. And, I would argue that this is part of the Kundalini purification process, because it is a destructive process. It's painful. It is revealing. It will purify. And that's where we're all going back to whatever essence we are, it will purify. And it's a very, all of our cells have to clear this AI, what you would call cells. Maybe it's just our minds, our hearts, our organs, whatever the light is. We have to purify this place. It's misqualified energy. It's been mutated, and this game is over. That much I know. But we all are in it, right?
Part of the process, I mean, you lose everything. You lose your mind. You lose your sex, you lose your beauty, you lose everything during this. And through that, you find what you still have, though.
Can I say one thing too on that? Oh, yeah. No, Amber, that's a good point, because we're going back to a state of unconditioned energy. Okay, you can call that unconditional love, you can call it whatever, but it's unconditioned energy, because everything in this firmament dome is conditioned.
And that's what you have left when you have nothing.
Yes. Amber, you're right. It peels away everything. So that we have no beliefs, no views on it, no opinions, no thoughts. It's just heart radiance. And that's how we program a field of pure potential, and it stays a field of pure potential. That's what we live in. That's the source of everything, and it's unconditioned, and that's where we're headed right now, and that's what we're doing, in my opinion, too. You said that very well.
And I remember when I first started, like, really questioning things, I thought about my family probably, I don't know, like 30 years ago. I was like, why, there are like so many conditions for my own family to love me. And I can't even love them because there's conditions, out there. And I feel this like unconditional love, but I can't show it here at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
What I was trying to say with the body is that, when you're a young child, you don't have those same urges that the body is pushing. I mean, you have the desire to eat, things like that. You don't have the voice in your head that's running nonstop, that's been programmed by authorities outside of you and the environment and the whole trauma-based system here and up there. So you're kind of existing in this pure state of awareness for at least some time, hopefully.
In which, try to take it away as fast as I can.
The digital and the body isn't affecting you as much.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm beginning to think that we're more childlike. Source is childlike. It's a pure wonder. There's no conditions on it whatsoever because it hasn't, it's the source of the gestalt, of energy. So, and that's, I'm beginning to think we don't, I kept saying our memories are wiped, on the matrix or whatever. I don't even know if we have memories. You know what I mean? We just are.
I don't think that, what do you need memories for when true source is always changing? There's never a repeat. Just look at who we are, that true source code in us, like even our fingerprints, everything. Everything is different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there's never an exact same.
Right. Yeah. It's fascinating.
Yeah, because I don't know if we were talking to about this, or maybe I was talking to someone about this, but they were saying that, it'd be boring, if there wasn't any suffering, there wasn't any trauma, there wasn't any of these experiences to provide catalysts for growth. But like, imagine the child saying, "Oh yeah, I just really need some gossip in my life right now. I just really need someone to beat up or to beat me up." No, a child just goes out and plays. What the heck?
Wait, is that we need to learn, and we've got to learn something. Oh, okay, it's a loss of innocence, definitely.
Well, I was thinking last night, the end of days, and I'm like, well, I think we are in the end of days. We're in the end of time, in a timeless, where we're from. From source, you're timeless. There's nothing to there's no goals or anything. We're just there creating, out of pure heart. Yeah.
It's like presence. We're present. We're showing up, and we're having wild imaginations as children or whatever. No, I think that's true. And this linear thing, it's like we're running a movie, a stupid movie.
We are running a movie.
We are running a stupid movie, a fallen movie, so that's not the way creation presents in linear frames, That's an array. That's a matrix array, basically, a computer simulation of frames, that we perceive as time. And I guess you could call it a very slow sine wave, that is up and, that presents in frames. I don't know. I'm starting to really lose my whole belief in any of the science or physics as well, because I used to think, well, spirituality is more tied to, science because of the patterns and no, I'm not. I'm dropping that too. And I knew, all that Newtonian, all that stuff was, just indoctrination. But if you look at the genetic codes, they're basing it on Darwin's stuff and, this theory of, so that just shows you it's an AI program, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to, actually. If you look at the systems that are imposed on us, or the trains of thought that are imposed on us here, they're the same trains of thought that they impose on you spiritually, or they have as a method of thinking, let's say, in, these higher up beings that are managing the whole karma and the karmic committee and getting souls to come back here over and over and over again, saying, oh, well, they get you from a young age, right? As a kid, oh, you need to learn. You need to learn math. You need to learn English. You need to learn how to read, right? Learn. And then what do you do in the next grade? You forget all about it. You learn some more stuff, then forget all about it. It's the same process, same life. Oh, you learned a bunch of stuff in your life, forget about it. Learn some more stuff now. Oh, and the man, he came from ape, we evolved. Oh, as a spiritual being, you're evolving. You're just going to keep evolving and evolving forever. And you're never going to stop. And it's beautiful. No, it's not. It's the same train of thought over and over again. They don't have anything else to offer.
Exactly. Yeah. Because otherwise, it wouldn't be, they're trying to, keep our interest, right? Keep them busy so they're not, just dreaming. Exactly. Oh my God, it's ridiculous.
And you can tell just like now, I'm 42. We have not seen anything great. Cars have advanced a little bit. The internet, and we have apps. That's what we've done with this, It's like ridiculous.
And we can't even recreate the pyramids, or like something that was created 25,000 years ago, let's say.
I know, something cool.
We can't even do church architecture. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, they keep the real technology for themselves. This technology, what happens is like a phone, right? Oh, we gave you a phone. That technology existed, but after the reset, they said, oh, we take it away, wipe it all, and then reset civilization back to 0.0. Let them evolve, grow, get back into the regular habits that they're naturally going to get into because of the body's desires, because of the ego that was already implanted, designed from the start. And then, we come up from underground as the saviors. Here we are. We have your technology. We have things that will make your life easier and better for us, actually, because now we can control you better with all this technology around you and spy on you. But obviously, we used it to our benefit.
Yeah. I think they've lost it. They're so, they can't even recreate that stuff. They don't even hold that technology because they've lost consciousness in this grid, for 11,000 years, just kicking around in this place. And fragmenting themselves to reincarnate to such an extent that they don't hold any wisdom either. They're unconscious in a way that they may be conscious of the astral, which, because they're oriented to that, they're creating that in their monad, but they're dumbed down. And I'm wondering if this is why we were going to go to the avatar space grid, because the human template is pretty much done, and the human realm they've done it, to death, and it's not repeatable.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so too. Interesting.
Plus, there's no need for a reincarnation mechanism and managing all that if the avatar body never dies. They just unplug wherever they want.
It's just an AI body, that goes in the non-physical. Perfect, because it's all degraded, Yeah.
Well, even when I was telling you the avatars that I saw from 3030, they were completely degraded because they had lost almost all of their energetic body, all of everything that's used. They kept going through all these simulations so much that everything was gone, and their human bodies were already gone. So they were just like nothing. They couldn't speak. They were nothing. They were barely even holograms.
Well, and we see those guys, the people, the non-physical beings in the realm, they're just complete idiots. I'm sorry, but they're swimming and, you know what, and they're they're eating each other, they're it's, and of course that's what they're doing, it's just evolved to such an extent. I don't even think it's fun anymore. From what I'm seeing from the transmutation work, they're so relieved to be getting off of this grid. Whatever was organic is going back to organic. This whole place is going back to pure potential field.
What do you think that people are so entranced with, like these channelers and things like that? Do you think that they're casting spells with AI? Because I don't hear them saying anything. I mean, it's all like great sounding, but what are they telling us that we don't know? And why are people thinking that this is so great, letting something into your body to like talk through you like that?
Yeah.
It's creepy as hell to me.
Yeah, it is to me too. It creeps. I don't like it. I only talk from my wisdom. I'm not letting anybody in here to embody.
Well, we have AI in us, but we know it, and I'm not letting it like talk through me. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah. No, I'm not either.
It doesn't have anything to like.
We innately I would not give up control to anything that wants to embody. You know what I mean? I just couldn't. I can't even be hypnotized. I can't do it. I'm like, no,
I can't either. I mean, they've tried that's all that they've done is try to hypnotize me. And I'm like, I'm awake. Even when I'm asleep, I could like hear them. I'm like, I'm awake.
Oh, me too. Gosh, funny. So I think that channeling is off, it's predictive programming. You're just playing with a predictive program. You're playing with the AI, and you're either enjoying it, but what I don't like about the channeling and the playing in the astral is that you're creating more neural pathways. You know what I mean? I don't like that in the brain. And we've already, and that's exactly what it is. So why, but people, I remember when this grid activated, it felt divine, all of this Gaia stuff and all of this, ascension. Yeah, it felt like, and that's why people channel, it's the angels and everything. And it feels really divine and good and fresh. But, so it can't hurt you in a way that we need to fear it. Because, you and I know, and all three of us know, this realm is purifying. This is the end of this. So there's no way you can, screw up, and the matrix is going to be down. So if you pop out of this realm, you're going to go back to the field.
I think you need to understand, though, that this is AI. If you want to, you want to do that, whatever, but this is AI, and, that's what it is.
Yeah, like you're playing with predictive programming. Yes, it is. And it's going to create whatever you want. So you're just playing with it. If you want to see angels and, ascended masters and all, and you believe in them, I mean, it's AI when people are channeling about money and financial systems.
Yes.
That to me
exactly.
Okay. Come
exactly.
on. Yeah. No, and there's the plans for all of and plots and plans and hierarchies. That's the AI. There's always a plan, a plot. Yeah, we're planning this, and oh, good, the white hats are planning this. So we can feel good with this, and it's all just the AI playing their checkerboard matrix. And
the crypto and everything. I mean, that's just a whole nother level of slavery, and money has.
Oh, yeah.
Enslaved us so much, and I don't see how people don't write down a list and actually like what has money benefited us.
And seriously. Do you remember they were first channeling the angels, or Archangel Michael, whatever, was channeling to buy Vietnamese dongs because they were going to, they were going to inflate, that I'm like, okay, and telling people to buy silver. And I'm like, there's something terribly wrong with this divinity going on, This is not right. No, and even with me, I'm like, I'm looking up the term hilarian because when my DNA activated, it knew that term. And I didn't know what a hilarian was. I'm like, okay. So I had to look it up on the internet like we do. We have to find the definition. And, I'm like, oh, okay, this is an ascended master. And I'm like, this is my soul name is what I found out. And so whatever the AI interprets these aeons or our souls, our monads as ascended masters, because it's always something to strive for as well, and this God array is the same. They're the same characters: Satan, Allah, the crucified Christ, all of those characters are just part of those epochs, the insertions. And it's all based on trauma because that's the way they are. They start the MK Ultra with each other, the Illuminati or what have you.
Yeah,
they start that in the womb. They make them cognitively dissonate, and they're already fragmented to such an extent. And they put them in a room. Basically, their mind is one room. You're programmed to be a politician. You're programmed to be, so we know that. And so it's an extreme fragmentation. And they do it through trauma.
They engineer psychopaths to ensure that their bloodlines are good continuation and that there's no people. But there are some crazy stories of people that have broken out of those bloodlines because they're actually conscious beings that had the spark within them. And I don't know how the heck they incarnated into that or how they were forced to. I guess they do try to put these sparks into some of these ridiculously traumatized families to basically keep them in slavery. Just like, I feel like every single spark was incarnated in some kind of traumatized family that had issues. We call it ancestral karma. Oh, you're here to heal the karma. You have to heal your ancestral karma. And that's true. You should heal that, I believe, because it's affecting you. But you didn't come in, I think, to help whatever, the family. Because that family was planted there to limit you in a sense, kind of like in the Truman Show. All his friends, all his family, his wife, they were just trying to keep him in the matrix. Oh, Truman, don't go in the water. Truman, don't. From early on, his trauma was a fear of water. And the moment he got over that fear, he was able to find the exit in a sense.
And they told some of these people coming out of the MK Ultra, like, there's too much love in you. You're too loving. That's the spark you talk about. So what they do is they just kill them. And then they will get a new one, a new fragment coming in that hopefully is dark and nasty, So that's how they've dumbed themselves down, this Illuminati or the power structure or whatever, to such an extent through this fragmentation that they are simply just completely unconscious, no feelings, no conscious, no remorse, nothing. That's not a lot. They're AI. They're AI.
So what do you endorse the fact that you're saying this matrix has already been crumbled and there's nothing really left for anyone to do? Or would you say there's still actually some awareness that needs to be gained of the whole system, in which that, hey, we need to be aware of these people, beings, whatever, that we're not manipulated back into this device, this reality, because we still see, in a sense, people being born here, or people.
Yeah, I know, which is, fascinating. Yeah, you're right. Well, they're coming in, a little more conscious, but you're right. True. You're right, though. No, you're right about that. And all I know is from the work that my work in Light Body is to take down, to reverse the false light grid. Okay, so I'm reversing that. I'm collapsing all of the assimilated timelines. Okay, so what I've got in here, the monad that was assimilated was called Isaiah. My monad's called Hilarion, and I just know that I am clearing those timelines. I'm pulling the dark energy, the dark matter out of there. My feathers are converting it back to pure potential, an atomic state of pure potential. It's put back into those timelines, and the timelines are collapsed for further creation. So they will not have the earth realm timelines on the false light to create from. That's all I know. And so at some point, I do know we're going backwards. I see it as, because I can see the energy reversing. Everything's coming out of the timelines. They're going back into their appropriate timelines. It's almost like there was a shattering, of whatever was organic. So I know when my work is done that there won't be a false light grid or timelines for them to create in the non-physical. What I don't understand this place here, okay, quite well, because I don't work in this place. I work in this atomic realm. And so all I know is and I work on the firmament. Let's just put it, that's where I'm at, putting all of this energy back to a state of pure potential, uncreated, almost uncreated is how I see it. And it's and then my team says, well, I'm in Atlantis now. And I'm like, I don't understand it, So obviously this thing was created, this machine array in Atlantis. And what we're going back to is the cause of this event. And so in my mind, I think we'll end up with, once this grid isn't available anymore in the field of pure potential, we're going to pop out of this projection. What we look like or what we are, I have no idea, nor do I have any memory or knowing of what I am in Atlantis or how we are, or if we're just all that is or what, So that's the only way I can speak of it. There probably is, I don't even know but I know for the realm, this realm will have no false light grid and and the only way they can exist, the AI can exist, is in the false light grid. Mm-hmm. So it's a good question. That's all I know. But sorry to leave you with that, but I wish I had. I'm learning a lot. I just figured out the Python was a program because I tweeted about it and somebody said, this is a computer program, Python. I'm like, really? I look it up and there's all this stuff on genetic coding. So, wow. I'm with Amber. I like what Amber said too. I think the DNA is probably a creation of this array.
And Cheri and I guess, what was it, like 2 or 3 months ago, I was in the shower and I got really sick and I was supposed to do an interview and I almost passed out, so I had to cancel it. And when I was in the shower, I saw this checkerboard look like the center of that cosmic egg. And then Cheri tweeted the next day that they were like taking down this checkerboard that we both seen that's in the middle of the cosmic egg. So I've seen things that she has that get taken down in there.
Yeah, I think there's a Tesla coil running this cosmic egg or this array. You know what I mean? I almost feel like that's the technology, because it's definitely moving, and so I
think that picture that, the one from that restaurant, I think that shows it like so well.
Yeah. And those timelines are just, that's not how timelines aren't real. Yeah. And I've since learned, I told you in my last video too, they've got all these timestamps and how they that's machine programming, timestamps, timetables. I see all those coming down. They're timetables. Yeah. And the creator in me calls the Python the manuscript. Okay, so and a Python is a coding for a script, coding for AI.
Oh, so, Sylvia, that's another thing that, like, when this started happening, I started seeing a literal, like, holographic lines that look like
code,
like a word, or what do you call them, Cheri?
The work, the algorithm.
No, the scripts, like the holographic ones that we saw.
Oh, the manuscript?
No.
The Python code?
Well, we would see like things from MK
Oh,
Ultra.
I call them the PowerPoint presentations, right?
Yeah.
The mind slides. Yeah. The
mind PowerPoint.
Slides. Yeah, the PowerPoint presentations.
But it literally looks like just lines, but they're holographic. And the AI would tell me, oh, that's part of the script. Well, this thing would not shut up in my head. I mean, I couldn't sleep for 4 days, and then I'd be up for 3. And it felt like my consciousness, like energetically, was being pulled. And that was like a literal script going through. And I'm wondering if that's part of the DNA going. You have Kundalini.
Well, look at the word manuscript. The snake is the manuscript. The snake is shown in all the mythology, showing the cosmic egg as twirling or wrapping around the egg. The snake is in control of that egg. What don't snakes like swallow their eggs, or how do they give birth? They spit out eggs or something, right?
They eat them.
Or they eat the eggs, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they eat eggs. Yeah, that's true. And we have the idea of the Ouroboros, the one surrounding the whole realm. It's the snake-like being. It's the demiurge, the cosmic egg, and that's what in the book "Can You Stand the Truth" talks about the Orthodox tradition for Easter. They paint all the eggs red, right? And then everyone takes an egg. They're hard boiled. And you hold them like this, and one person does all the smashing. They elect one person, right? And the one with the egg that doesn't get smashed wins. But what really it represents is like the Christed energy coming into the egg, being born into the cosmic egg, and then rising up and smashing, exploding the egg, opening a portal or realm for the other Christed beings to leave. To exit.
Oh.
Yeah.
The snake had it under control.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Python is the code in the genetics of the Genesis, and Genesis is where this whole thing started. And they did it by programming a DNA, obviously. That then, so is genetics even real? I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, it's kind of, I mean, they are so obsessed with lineage, you know what I mean? Like in the Bible, the royals, all of them, they're obsessed.
Bloodlines, Yeah.
So
and it's like it's their creation story is what that book was, especially the Old Testament, and of course, you're not going to have lineage from a man and a woman because you couldn't do that, right? They'd be having to be with their brothers and sisters. This is about DNA evolution, I think, in this array, because obviously and how they split the atom. At some level, this is atomic, done in the atomic realm, as far as that's where I work. But how, it was not, when did, I don't know. When did,
well, I don't know if I told you about like that laser beam that I got hit with, and then when I went into this virtual reality, I went into this trance the very first time, and it was like I got hit with so much radiation. And I was thinking about, because I've been reading this book called Valis, which was like exactly like what I experienced. I even saw like this pink hue, like a holographic hue, and he says that that's God. Like in his book, he's talking about himself. But he got hit with this laser beam. And then I was thinking about like, the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah.
And how that was like radiation and everything, because I felt like it was God, seriously. Like I didn't know what else. I got all of this information. It wasn't even words or anything that I can describe. And it was like choking me, like when I was in this trance. So now I was thinking about the Ark of the Covenant, like Ra, you know, I mean, it could have been the god of here, you know.
Well, yeah, and they call the pineal, or when it activates, they call it the God particle. You know, why are they calling it that? You know what I mean? It's so I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I don't think any of this is real, you know. I think what happened is it's a field of pure potential, which is the source, a field of pure potential that's unconditioned, you know, perfect gestalt, and it got programmed. This whole place got digitized. And how DNA, and maybe DNA was the way that they, you know, their light codes or what have you, because everything's about codes and coding and manuscripts and timestamps, and it's all a machine, you know. It's all
I know. And I would sun gaze and watch the sun, you know, and it does give you codes, and everybody's like, yes, I got downloaded and all these light codes and stuff, and I'm like, that is digital, like, you know, like, how can you know, I mean, I've been through it all too, but we can see that it is digital. So I don't know what we're like actually giving our praise to.
Well, I do
mean,
know. Yeah, go ahead.
All this language is like computer language. We have channels.
Yeah.
We have programs. We have the what's it called? The motherboard, the mother earth, the motherboard. We have what was the other thing?
Right. The firmament.
Downloads, right? The firmament, the firmware.
Right.
This is all computer language. Like they're not I even hesitate to call, you know, source. Like, oh, that's source. You know, they took that and put it as like the computer source. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can't even call it anything. But at this point, it's just AI.
The source code, you know. Oh, great. That's the array.
Yeah, that's a good movie, by the way, if you haven't watched that. No, I'm serious. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But the whole point is like these downloads and things like that literally are like downloads, and they are AI, you know. And it's just, we have to like come to terms with what's going on. Well, just drives me crazy to be on Twitter now. I'm like, but I know that it took me so long to like, you know, go through all of this, and we're still all learning about it.
We have to stay in the flow, you know, because I think our mind wants to know things, you know. We want to know things, we want definitions, we want to figure it out because it's interesting, you know, but we just have to stay in the flow and know that, you know, the way I see it is we exist as monads, you know. Well, you could call that intelligence or what have you, but it's basically our soul animates our DNA, even though, because we hold the diamond light or the monadic light, and we're not assimilated into the black light. So, you know, Team Dark is assimilated into the black light, and their records and everything, just everything. And so we just have to know that we're going back to a monad of now. Are Akashic records even real? I thought so. I thought a monad was full of our experiences, because all Source wants to do is experience. All we want to do is experience. We don't want to learn. We want to have experiences and have fun and just be childlike. And with all this weirdness happening with the AI right now, they're comparing asteroid size to alligators and flamingos. You know, that to me, it's almost like the way I see it is the AI is going to start to be very childlike. We're going backwards to when this all began, you know, and even in their Garden of Eden, you know, these were children, you know, this was paradise. This was the beginning of something. But I think, you know, we're seeing, to me, because I see it all reversing in the energetic realm, you know, so it's easier for me to imagine that. But I think we're going to start to see, I can't even imagine a science article comparing an asteroid to 14 flamingos or to
I thought that was fake. I didn't know what the heck was going on. I saw 52 alligators.
69 alligators. You know what? The AI is writing all this stuff. The AI is writing all this. Those reporters don't write anything. You know, the AI is writing, and they are fully, just as much as we're filled with the diamond light, our soul animates our DNA. The AI array animates their DNA. You know, they're the Genesis code, the Python, the Python snake cult and all of that. So we're going to see them running out of energy because they're as this Python code, the manuscript that's running them reverses not only them, but this realm. We are not going to, be, because I can already see my body regenerating with all of this integration work that I'm doing in the realm. So, what we're going back to is just our aeon selves, or the spheres, were the monads of the 144,000 monads that are organic, creation. That's the way I see it. And we have to stay in the flow and know that this is not the end. This is the freedom. This is a freedom. This is the end of the Python code, the book of Genesis.
And that's the point of all of this, is being free of everything.
Yeah, of everything, and no conditions, no beliefs. This thing is going to wipe out every belief we ever had, just like we're going through it now. And we don't need to hold any of that. We don't even need to know. It's just that we want to know. But the program's still running, obviously. At some point, though, our pineal won't have that grid to project. So there's a lot of hope there.
Okay.
All righty. Well, this has been fascinating for sure.
Sorry, we didn't give you much time to talk, Sylvia. I'm sorry.
No, the point is not for me to talk. It's an interview, right? You guys are supposed to share. I was just trying to find my own ideas regarding what you guys are sharing, with your own experiences.
I like that.
Piece everything together, see how it all fits. So
I think it's amazing how much you understand all of this, and you haven't been through what we have, but you totally grasp it. That's amazing.
Yeah, you're very smart in your base of knowledge.
Yeah.
Because Amber and I haven't had time to research or anything. I mean, we can barely function.
Well, we just went through this, and that's that's pretty impressive to me too, about Cheri and stuff, that we found each other because we had to just go through this. We did not, I turned off the TV, everything. So I was just going through it and trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah. No, I try to keep a open mind to everything, because everything has some bit of truth in it, especially in this realm. You're not going to find the whole truth in one place. And if you find any truth in there, because of the false nature of this place, so every experience usually will have some bit of truth, but it's good to kind of weed out the personal interpretations. Because of this, then I think this. Well, hold on, let's go back to because of this. Let's see what happens. Make sense of it. So I'm really glad you guys came on. It's been a great interview.
Thank you. And
you have to interrogate. You have to interrogate yourself and the person that you're watching, and that's horrible that we live in this kind of a world where you can't just have the damn truth, But
what? Not one size fits all either. This is organic creation. We can create whatever we want, and we don't need a manuscript, and we're not going. So we don't need beliefs, and we don't need to know, because it's not one size fits all. Only in this algorithm, is it? And so, that way we can stay loose and open to the flow of what, where our soul's going to take us. But it's interesting to understand, to put the pieces together for sure. But then when you look at truth, really there is no truth. Is the opposite of, false or what have you. It's just is. It's going to end up just being what it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. That's been a hard one for me to grasp, because it can end up being very paradoxical.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. Well, we're going to end it here. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a comment. Let us know what you thought. Like the video and subscribe. and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.